what's up? What's up? Video on my list for store championships or what I've been playing. Because there's a Ruby Amethyst list on the screen, and I'll talk through it. I've got three lists, and they're basically practicing. And yeah, just sort of after getting the first win with Kiwi Birds at the content creator event, I sort of just felt like I want to play other ones. And I think as well, like my mindset of being like, just I can just play Sapphire Steel and I'll be fine to play that color combo competitively for the rest of the game. Kind of got a bit shook after the bans, I won't lie. Like I think Kiwi Bird is still amazing and like I'm still gonna bring that to events. We brought that to Germany and we brought that to the content creator champs, store champs. But I think it's probably best if I kind of get a more wider knowledge of each color and like try play it to like a competitive level rather than just honing myself in as a Sapphire Steel only player. It's kind of sad to say, but it feels like that's the direction they want the game in. And I've played games like Pokemon before where like you might be the, oh, I only play like electric type Pokemon. But then you'll kind of get to a point where electric isn't in the format or it isn't viable to be played competitively. So you have to swap to like whatever it is, it's the water type or something else. And it feels like with Lorcana, it's like right now it feels Amethyst is the very strong color to be playing right now. There are some outliners as well, like Steel Song and Emerald Steel as well, that are both sort of doing quite well. But I think getting a good grasp of Amethyst is just really quite an interesting thing. There's like it seems to be so powerful. There's you've got Blurple, you've got Emerald Steel, Emerald. No, Amethyst Steel, sorry, Amethyst Emerald. You've got Ruby Amethyst, and you've got like different versions of Ruby Amethyst. So I think yeah, just kind of getting my like teeth into like every list, so I can say if I play an event, oh, I feel confident enough that I know a decent level at playing this deck. And yeah, we started with Ruby Amethyst. Like, it's a deck I've had built since, like, I played the set one. I think it was like the first deck I ever built. We played it till like sometime in set three, and then we made the full swap to Sapphire Steel. But yeah, I kind of just went back to it. It's always been a lovely deck that I've had built. It was always fairly cheap to upgrade as well. And it still is sort of the case as long as you have the staples. Like a lot of this stuff is set one and set two, and like the bounce package is all locked in. And then of course be prepared and like Maui and whatever and Elsa and like as long as you have like a playset of the one drops, like you can always keep the deck going. The only real change here is Pegasus over Flynn, because Flynn at this point like just not getting you much value. I still think if you played Flynn, like you could cheese some games past people, but I just don't think it's the best when you could be using the Queen of Hearts as well. Like Ruby Amethyst, the funny thing was like they never really had good two drops, so you played Flynn because it was like decent into one matchup, which was Ruby Sapphire and the Mirror, I suppose. But now you've got so many options of like Pegasus, which was an older card, but you've got lots of targets for it. There's a lot of non-steel like Emerald decks around, and then you've got Queen of Hearts, which is a 1/4. I think she's fine. I think she's only really there if you're losing into like Steel Song or maybe like some of the aggro matchups. For me personally, like I'm not really struggling into those matchups. Or when I play them, I just take them as they are. And if I lose them, I lose them, and I go, yeah, it's fine. I did not think about whatever um like this deck is that I'm playing against right now. Some hyper aggro slop or whatever. So yeah, overall pretty good. We played our first store champs today. I thought I'd do this now because just otherwise I'll probably want to do a video for a few days. And I thought I'd probably show you the lists I'm playing because if you pair into me at store champs, you will know exactly what I'm playing and my thoughts on the deck. So we played this today down in store champs in Chelmsford, which is a place in the UK. It's Essex, where the Anywhere's Essex and all that stuff is from. And we managed to get top four with it. It was, I'd say, even though we got top four out of 22 players, I'd say it still didn't feel like the right deck for the day. I felt like there's the matches I played, I probably could have got through with, say, Steel Song or maybe even Kiwi. But if the real sort of problem was like there was two Blurple players that were like bubbling to the top and like staying away from all of the aggro decks that they very much would have struggled against, and just sort of beating all of the other control decks like the RP Shark decks and the Ruby Sapphire decks, and they were just like at the top, so you knew you had to face them to like the final boss. And we played one in top four, and it was like, yeah, it's sort of my deck isn't built for this. Like I didn't really want to put cards in it to help me beat Iego, and I was like, this card I might not see. And I had a lot of like metas. I didn't really know this store's meta, but I was like, sometimes what happens is like people put Iego in, then they like everyone in the like local area is just playing steel deck, so they just take Iego out because it's useless into those decks. So I was like, yeah, I'll just take my chances, and yeah, it would have been nice to have a sort of a Iego answer, to be honest with you. Um, just because it came up and it was like we were cheesing law of Pegasus, Iego locked us down. We would put anything on the board. We couldn't really like get early questing law because Iego was there, and they also have Porpsicles in their deck, so they would heal it. So I'd have to do a full clear of it. If I ever B prep the board, they will just play manas on me, so I have to make sure that I could do something after B prep. And overall, yeah, that card was quite MVP, and like I guess it was so strong that it probably does dictate me needing one or two cards in there, like Hypnotic Strength or something. But overall, it felt fine, and I think even on that day there was some Steel Song in the room, and if the Blurple players would have played into him, maybe they would have had a harder matchup. And then as well, they've always got like their green matchups, and they were the best. I believe they're a lot better than they were. Um, but they're still not great. We did walk away. Yeah, top four finish is not bad. We also got a team mascot, which was a cuddly capybara that Ali picked out. It looks very, very cute, doesn't it? It's called Blossom. Um, it wasn't named that, we named it, but that's going to be our team mascot as we do the rest of the store champs. But yeah, to be honest with you, I would play this list again, and I think in the right room where there wasn't like some Blurple players that were, like bubbled all the way to the top, and like you had to fillet them. I would have probably keep playing this list. Like Ruby Sapphire, if there's a lot of Ruby Sapphire like DKP list, this list feels 100% comfortable into that. Steel Song, I feel like if you're on the play, you get on top of them. The aggro decks, like as long as you can get your 1 and 2 drops, like you should be fine. Green Steel, I feel like you can just out resource them as well, and then like B prep and Tremaine lock them or use the Sisus. Green purple, I think you have like a fair game into it. So I think besides like Blurple, like I feel like you have a pretty fair game into the rest of the field. Maybe like one of that we won one game, we lost one game. We won it 2-1, sorry, in the end, but we lost one game in a set because it was against a green purple aggro and we just didn't have a 1 drop or 2 drop, so they just run away with like a Merfolk's questing for however much. And that's just how it is with this deck, isn't it? But that, to be honest with you, that's how every deck is. If you miss your 1 and 2 drop against aggro, they will just run away with the law and bit 16 law before you can do anything. But overall, yeah, I thought it was fine. I'd probably play it again. Like we've got 7 more store champs to do, and starting off with a top four is not the worst. So yeah, awesome lists ran smoothly. I don't really like playing the shark stuff, and I don't. The only problem is I don't know how many rounds I could play of this. Like that was 5 rounds because there's 22 of us, and it's just like that's just so much of bouncing a rabbit. Doing these very safe mulligans because you don't want to mulligan into like Lady Tremaines and B preps. Doing resource grinding wars against Ruby Sapphire. You just don't want to be doing those things. So maybe personally, as me and my playstyle, I like to play quite quick decks. Even when I play like Sapphire Steel Wheel, I was like, you can kind of tell if you've won or lost quite quickly, and you get to play in this very fast momentum. It's what I always liked about the deck. But with this one, yeah, you have to play it slower. You can't just turn the game and just race them. You have to do this sort of resource grinding war. So yeah, probably maybe not play it again for the rest of this 7 store champs, but awesomeness. Maybe by the end of it, I would have forgotten about how tired I get on it and want to go back to it. But yeah, I mean the other list, of course, is just basic Kiwi for me. It's the list maybe I can see myself running if like I just wanted to like not an easier day, but like I just want to turn things sideways and think a little bit less. I say that like there is definitely a lot of skill to playing this list. By that I mean I've seen a lot of people perform very well with it and a lot of people perform very badly with it. So I think there is definitely a very big skill gap that you can do with this list. But also it is a very quick deck. Your games are done within 10 minutes. It's an aggro deck. Like you always have that fallback of just play things on the board and quest and turn them sideways. So overall you could end up having a fairly easier day playing this than having to do a massive resource war. One turn you inca Maui, and that's going to lose you the game because they mana you or whatever. Whereas this, you play your hand out, you'll have some interesting turns where you have to really think about what you're going to put on the board, what you're going to commit, what you're going to quest with, what you're not going to quest with, and like it's always been like my kind of game and my kind of play style with the list, with a deck. Really enjoy it for that factors. Of course, yeah, when we do it at like the Germany event where there's like 9 rounds and then you go to a top cut, it's like I'm not fatigued and tired. I haven't been sat there playing Porpscore, popping Porpscore, playing a Tamata, recycling it. I've just been doing my standard aggro sort of game, and I'm like mulliganing. Like the hardest part is the mulligan, and then from there it should autopilot itself in like a lot of the games, and then some of them you'll have to think about. So yeah, the only thing I'd say is like the crab and the fox in Amethyst being how popular Amethyst is right now. Like maybe I wouldn't love to play it because like those cards just really can run over you sometimes. Like I'm not saying they're impossible to beat. I think you have a fair game into it, but definitely the cards like that give you like rush good value. is what beats Kiwi because of course we ward everything up and we turn it sideways. So we say you can't really use removal on it, but of course you can always rush and run things in. So I'd say definitely those are the sort of cards that would beat it if needed to. And like today, I think only I think one or two of our matchups weren't against Amethyst. So yeah, uh, definitely like my gonna be my oh, okay, I think I want to play this weekend for whatever reason. Maybe I had a busy week at work or something like that. And also as well like maybe I want the win because this is the list I feel the most confident on as well. So lots of positives. I think either of these two lists as well are strong choices. These are all me suggesting the list that I'm playing and saying you could play them as well. And the last one is Steel Song. I kind of just really got in my head that I really wanted to learn Amber. And I think that comes from playing so much Kiwi and enjoying it so much because Amber, to be honest with you, the playstyle, especially the dock builds, weren't far off what Kiwi is doing. And of course, Amber Steel as well isn't far off that. And we get to play of cards I love as well, like Whole New World. We get to play a ton of like amazing steel removal and just overall it just feels fun, being able to wheel and just you have like throughout the day you'll have a handful of the games where it's just locked in that you're going to win it. You do your one drop, two drop, set up a singer, then you sing Whole New World and play some daisies, and there is like value wise nothing they can do if they put anything on the board. You just sing removal on it. So there you'll just have a handful of games where it's just like the deck is locked in at winning, and I really like that. I really like using the Troubadour. I really like that it's quite a valuable card right now because Ruby Sapphire again is just not that popular. Um, so you don't see as many big Sisus, so the card can sit and just like snipe anything like with the Zeuses. So that's just really awesome. And the early Zeus sometimes is just such a big tempo swing, especially early Zeus into like a strength or something can just lock people out of the game. And this is me more of a mission to just completely learn how to play Amber at like a competitive, good level. So this is why I definitely want to get some Store Champs games in. The list seems very standard. Like just as we learn the deck, like I think Aerial Sonic Warrior could maybe find it in there as a one-off. That'd be quite interesting to learn as well. But besides that, everything else is just what you'd expect in a Amber Steel deck. I've been trying the Robin Hood package. I tried the Queen package, and yeah, I think today if I played against a lot of these non-steel decks, like the Queen package would be great because you get that turn two wheel, and then sometimes that's just enough to tempo swing you into the win. But right now, I just like the Robin Hood. I've just always preferred it. And again, like some of the cards, we're just carrying them straight over from Kiwi into this list. And it's surprising how much actually I would miss a Calhoun. I really do like Calhoun. I think I know the problem is there right now she'll just trade with stuff like she'll 1/1 with a Smee and then die and you get your two lore and move on. But I just like her on the board. She gives so much board presence. So that's maybe a card. If I could fit it in, I don't think you can fit it in the Whole New World version of Steel Song. The only thing I'd change here at this list is maybe take one Daisy out and put a Prince Naveen in because he's quite good value, especially when you're getting a bricked hand, like a bunch of songs you don't want, but you're like stuck at 4 ink, you top deck Prince Naveen, play it, and even when you play him in your like most optimal line, so you play 1, 2, 3, set up some stuff like you play Cindy, Daisy, a Lawrence, and then you play Naveen, and it's like wow, that's just an insanely strong board. So yeah, this is one I definitely want to keep trying with. I think the Plutos are pretty good, and mainly because you play against, again, like I say, Amethyst is so powerful. This like post ban set, like your Sing, and then your Sing will just be completely ready to be Fox hit or something. So having a Pluto there is just another thing they have to deal with. I like it. It's the meta feels kind of strange though. Like I don't even think Ruby Amethyst like has a very good matchup spread. Like there are some matchups like some of these aggro decks just run over it. I think China Dogs, I think you have a decent match into, but like some of these Amber Steel aggro decks just run over you, like the way Diggy holded. Blurple still like is quite a big problem. It seems very popular. Even right now, I'm watching the SSG stream and it's like everywhere. Kiwi Birds, like for me personally, it's always felt flat. It's an aggro curve deck. It wants to do what it wants to do, and if your opponent's gonna be able to beat you, they are. If not, you just win the game. And it never really cares too much about your opponent discarding your hand. It never really cares about your opponent uh, doing whatever they want to do at their deck. It's just going to do its consistent resist and turn everything sideways sort of game plan. There's Amber still like overall feels amazingly good into like a lot of these Amethyst decks. And sometimes you just get free wins of Whole New World. But then you'll just have like games where the deck bricks. I'm trying to like learn because I don't actually want to say the reason why I don't play Amber Steel is I just sometimes brick and I don't know what to do. I want to actually learn how to play it. Like I think even drawing two whole new worlds, you still should be in a position where you could win the game. And I don't want to be a player who's just saying, "Oh, I drew a bunch of whole new worlds, that's why I lost the game." I want to be able to navigate them, and that's why I'm pushing myself to learn this deck a bit more. And I've always played it a little bit. It's probably the one I have the least playtime with. I played a lot of Diggy Hole. I like that deck. I don't think it's particularly viable right now. I don't think aggro is going particularly viable, especially if like your opponent's going to go like Peter Pan, Iego into Maui or Elsa into Shark, and you're just sat there like trying to spam daisies or whatever like that, or spam questers. You want to wheel set up a board and full quest for a turn. So yeah, these are the three lists that I'm playing, and I've been playing them at locals, and they've been winning me leagues as well. I think we won with Steel Song at locals two or three times in a row. I can't remember. But yeah, I think all of these are very strong choices for your store champs. Like I say, this I did get to top four. I fully believe in a different room, or the way that room would have played out a bit differently. Like the Steel Song players would have played the Blurple players and maybe knocked them down. We could have continued it on to the finals. Diggy Hole, like no Diggy Hole. Kiwi is like always just gonna be my consistent. Like if I'm having such a bad time on these other two lists, I'm just gonna go back to this and just play the rest of the season out with it. And then and Bastille was just like it's such an amazingly powerful deck, probably best get deck in the format. So I just really want to get the reps in it and learn it, and then so I can like talk quite knowledgeable about Amber decks. So yeah, there's just some tidbits, just some updates about what's going on at the store champs for me. I will probably be attending one every time every time there is. So we've got seven more of these. Just me and Ali very much enjoy doing these. They're very fun to travel. We get to see loads of people that we don't usually see. So yeah, please let me know as well about your style champs. And I kind of want to really know like what's everyone's looking like. Like ours Blurple turned up way more than I thought it would. I even thought Ruby Amethyst turned up way more than I expected it to. I knew a lot of the Ruby Sapphire players who were on the Sisu and Ice deck would probably opt to play it again. But I was very surprised how many though, and just how the way the room shaped out. As I say, I know that store decently, and they also play in our store sometimes. But yeah, just really interesting to see how like everyone else's store champs are shaping up.